Hello.
Hello. Hi. How are you?
I am great. Thank you so very much for inviting me.
You're so very welcome. Please welcome Gerald from TarotStache.
Ooh, here.
Yes. And I've got your link up in the chat.
Oh, thank you.
And I wanted to ask, Tangi, would you be interested in being a moderator?
Just say yes, Tangi. Oh, the notice popped.
In being a moderator.
Oh,
That's supposed to be off.
oh, the notice. You know what? You know what? Moderator. When that happens, it's one of those things that I do that and it's like, oh my goodness. But there are worse things that happen. So, oh, she said yes.
And I just added her.
You've got the power of Tangi, Roman Biscotti, and the entire team above.
That is definitely some power. The power of Tangi.
It's major power.
So you should be turning blue any second, Tangi. And thank you very much.
I'm putting something on the community tab to let people know that we're live. Beth is here. Hi, Beth. Espasia Rising. Hello, hello. So everybody.
And Marcia Green, if Marcia's still here. Good morning, Marcia.
Everybody like and subscribe to Deb H, Purple Elephant.
Thank you.
I keep looking behind you to see if there's elephants or anything like that.
I do have elephants back there. Some are small, and you probably can't see them. Some are up on the wall. I have a shelf next to me that's got a number of them. And there's some. This is one of my elephant rooms. So I have elephants.
Very nice
in this room, from the floor to the ceiling.
Well, and I know when I first saw you in chats, it was like you were like, yeah, I like elephants, and that's the name, and it's like, that's awesome. So
I've been collecting elephants since I was about 12 years old. So
wow,
48 years.
That's cool.
49 years.
Okay. I can't do math. So you're just 50?
I'm 60. I will be 61 soon.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh, we have more people joining us. Look at that.
Hi, Pamela.
Pamela.
Hi, Lisa.
Lisa.
Let's see. Did we miss anyone?
Well, I'm glad everybody is here. I'm glad people are watching, especially when they watch the playback. Make sure you give a thumbs up. Debbie is a new channel and is enjoying creating content. Or are you enjoying creating content?
I am. I've been telling my stories, some of them, and then interviewing some awesome guests, yourself included, and just generally having a good time. Meeting people in the community face to face is just really a joy.
It really is. It really is. And you've got a lot of interviews scheduled. I mean, you just interviewed Mark yesterday.
I did. Next week I have Scott, Scorpio Sun, coming on.
There you go.
And I have Sun Psychic Jean toward the end of the week. And she convinced me to stop saying I'm not a medium because she proved to me that I was.
Ooh, and for those of us who know me, if I were to say that, you're a medium.
I need a fan. I do need a fan.
Get one with elephants on it for you. So
that would be lovely.
Pamela still has a house full of visitors, so she's lurking. Thank you, Pamela, for lurking.
Thank you. Don't slight your visitors. You can always catch us on the playback.
I love playback. That's why there's playback.
Yes.
And Espasia Rising said, I used to give my dad a small elephant statue every year for Christmas. I'm pretty sure that was my thing, not his. LOL.
It probably was, but I'm sure he loved them anyway. I mean,
sure.
what's not to love? There's
Well,
MA.
I mean,
Hi, MA. Hi, Silver.
hi, MA. Hi, Silver. Wow. That's cool. You're not late. We're just rambling and,
We are. We
all that
haven't
good stuff.
started anything.
Well, no, we've started chatting.
Well, we did
So,
start chatting. So we haven't gotten into the serious, whatever our discussion is going to be.
okay, see, this is the funny thing. Deb is like saying, "Oh, I don't know. What do you want to talk about?" I'm like, "Well, we could talk about this," and it's like, "Okay," or we could talk about this. It's like, "Okay," so it'll be a wonderful exploration. So,
I am, that is my favorite thing, exploring, discovering, and
mhm.
having an adventure.
Yes, yes. So, we talk. I was just going to ask you. I was like, all of a sudden, going to take over the interview, and I'm not going to do that. So, surprise, everybody! Mark your calendars. Today is the day that Gerald did not take over an interview. But so, how long have you been doing tarot? I will ask.
Okay, I learned to read cards, regular playing cards, when I was about 9 or 10 years old.
Okay.
On my own, just because I was getting bored with Shakespeare and Poe. So when I was about, I want to say 14, maybe, I discovered tarot cards. I found in the local kind of gig joke shop kind of place. They had a deck of tarot cards. It was a big oversized deck with blue on the back, blue and white stars. And so I bought this deck, and it was a Rider-Waite Smith deck, and studied.
It wasn't this one, was it?
It was a version of that one. It was in the 70s, so that's very close to what it was.
Because this is the Morgan Greer. So
in the 70s, they had that back with the Rider-Waite.
Okay. I don't know which one that is, but that's a curiosity for me.
And it might have been, because it was like a joke shop, it might have been a one-off or something. It might have been a misprint or something. So I took this deck and memorized the book and started to read and started to be pretty accurate. That's nice. Then when I was started to be in my 20s, I started to get the exit cards for my mom, and I kept telling her it was transformation, and then I started to dream about it, and I just refused to accept that my mom was going to go away.
Yeah.
And so she got sick, and we lost her, and I put my cards down. I put them in a drawer, and when they started to talk to me, I think I told you I'm not very clairaudient, but they started to talk, and I could hear them. And I just didn't want to. So I did away with them. Then a couple of years ago, so I had put them down for 38 years.
Wow. Okay.
But all this time, I knew it was still there. I just ignored it. And then after I started to, hi, Jane. Jane's here.
Oh, we got new people in. Jane and Lisa Stevens officially noted that.
Yes. And
Sherry
H. Don't see Sherry, but I see her name in there. Ange. Good morning. So then I picked them back up about a year ago. Wendy. Hi, Wendy.
So, okay, so you picked them up about a year ago. Their voices got loud enough, or you got bored enough, or you needed to figure out what you were going. You needed space in the drawer, so you pulled them out.
I had to go and get a new deck because I don't have that original deck anymore. And back in the 70s, there weren't a lot of decks.
There were not a lot of decks.
And that's why I first originally learned to read regular playing cards, because there just weren't available. And I live in the South, so there's already a stigma attached.
Of course.
And so you can't really be out in the open with it like you can some places. So, but now I have found a metaphysical store that I can actually go to. They will sometimes open up. That's how I got the deck that I am using the most, that I really love. They opened the deck up.
That's
and
nice.
Looked at it and said, she said, "Oh, this is beautiful." And I looked at it and she let me touch it. And that was the deck that resonated with me. But the first deck I got again was the Rider-Waite.
Okay. And what was the deck that the person let you open in the shop?
It was the Tarot Mucha. So I
don't know that one.
It's a Art Nouveau deck. So that's the death card.
Oh. What do the backs look like?
The backs look like one of Mucha's posters.
Okay. Know your limits, purchase responsibly, and people.
It was in a tuck box with no booklet, and just like a throwaway deck they had. So the last time I was in, I noticed that, okay, this is the Empress. So except for the court cards and the designated major arcana, they're all female. So that one's the Hermit. They're all just the Magician. I love this card. So I saw this card. I saw the Fool and the Magician, and I said, I have to have that one. So I took it. Since I've been back lately, now they have it in the big box with the book and everything, and it's like 3 times as much money. So,
yeah.
But this, I resonated with that one. And
yeah, and Joan B, thank you for putting that in there. It is the Mucha. I have heard of it. And so, yeah. Okay. So you resonated with it, and that's a great reason to get a deck.
I did. And if, I believe, hi, Joan. I think that the Joan of Arc is one of the cards, and I can't remember which one it is. But it's all his posters.
Okay. Yes.
Based on his posters, and that's why they're mostly female, because he mostly did female.
Hi, Marcia. And Anne. I don't think I said hi to Anne.
So I had that one, but I really loved the Modern Witch, but I don't like the cardstock. So I had to modify it so that I can handle it.
Thank you, Beth. Yeah, Gerald. Yes, Tarot Mucha is based on the Art Nouveau artist Alphonse Mucha, who, and I'm aware of that. Oh, and Joan B said, "Oh, this might go on my wish list."
I love this deck, and it is at least for me, it's a very straightforward, in your face, gives you the unvarnished truth. It's not, it doesn't sugarcoat anything. And I have sometimes been reading with it and wondering, how am I going to say this?
Yes.
And put it in a positive light. But,
yeah. Well, and I think, and Jane the Seeker had mentioned she has some She has some, what did she say up above? I have some manga tarot, love them, powerful, no book, intuition. And, you know, we were talking about how did we learn tarot? And I think I don't want people to discount that using your intuition is a great way to read tarot.
That's what I was going to say. After putting down the tarot for 38 years, I don't remember anything. I don't remember. I'm still having trouble with court cards again. But this deck, I don't need a book because I can read the cards, and they don't have words on them at all.
Yes.
And so there's not a keyword. It's just all intuition, because I mean, I have downloaded the book, but and I might look at it to see if I'm right, but it doesn't. But that's not how I'm reading. So.
And I think you know, because there are people who, you know, there's people who they memorize the cards. And how do you go about selecting a deck of cards? Ooh.
I have done that. I have memorized the book before when I was younger. I memorized the whole thing. I knew it backwards, forwards, all the reverses. I knew all of it that I could get my hands on. I like this way of reading better.
Well, and I also think that, well, I'll answer your question, and I'll give you my opinions on your question, Marcia, in a moment. I think
he was checked, Beth.
Mixing stuff, into here we go. This is where I have to sip and slow down.
I have started to do that too, Gerald. Started to mix.
Well, memorizing the card meanings is a helpful thing to do, because if you're not getting any intuitive hits on cards or what they mean, then you have a place to start.
To fall back on,
yes. And I do think a lot of people that I know who read, they read intuitively as well as with the knowledge of the cards, and then that allows them to level up that knowledge. I mean, so you've seen,
you have a foundation to build on.
That's the word. Thank you. That's the word. I couldn't think of the word foundation. So how do you go about selecting a deck of cards? Well, I'm glad you asked, Marcia. There's a couple of things to keep in mind. One is, are you taking a class, and what does the teacher or the instructor recommend?
Because most instructors will start with Rider-Waite. Most, not all.
Yes. Or a Rider-Waite Smith clone, something that is based upon those images, because there are a plethora of books that are published about the tarot, about reading the Rider-Waite Smith. There's but the Tarot de Marseille, which is pips, and which, do you know what pips are? Okay. For those of you in chat who may not know what pips are, is the minor arcana, with the exception of the court cards. If it is the Two of Pentacles, it's a card that has two pentacles on it. There's no people. People are only in the majors and in the court cards.
Right.
But if you show up with a Tarot de Marseille for a class that's based on an RWS, you're going to miss a lot.
Because of the symbolism in the RWS.
Yes, exactly. And then you have the Thoth, or the Thoth, or the Tooth, or whatever. With that, the images are similar, but there's keywords and there's similarities, but a guidebook for that style or that deck is helpful. I'm rambling. What are people saying in chat?
Marcia's I'm not, hang on, was that? No, that's the wrong one. Sorry, Ange. The classes that Marcia is taking is looking at you, me, and Jane enjoying these channels. Does that mean the class is looking at us or that you're looking at us, Marcia?
I think she's using us as an example and learning about cards that way.
I see.
But when you are selecting a deck, something that draws you in, you like the messages.
Exactly.
You feel a connection to the deck.
It's good to get a good foundation with something. A lot of decks are based on RWS. So if you get a good foundation with that deck, then you can pick up most decks and be able to read it.
Yes. And Ange is right. Watching flip throughs on YouTube can help you choose decks.
It can. It can also show you decks that you don't like, that you don't resonate with.
Exactly.
So you don't spend money on something you won't use.
Yes. Because I'm a tarot collector. Purchase responsibly, know your limits. You only need one deck to read tarot.
So, my advice is to find a deck that you love and that resonates with you. And if you find that one, if like the deck that I used, when I saw it, I said, I can read this deck. I don't need, for the most part, to go outside. I can tell what the cards mean. I know what the cards mean.
Yes. And I am a person who and this is just Gerald, hashtag for entertainment purposes only, hashtag this is just me, this is my thing. I actually like flip throughs where people just show the cards. Usually, so when I'm considering a deck, that's what I want to see. I don't,
First time I remembered to put it up, and only because you said that.
There you go. But I don't necessarily want someone's walkthroughs and their first impressions, because I'd like to develop my first impressions of the deck. That's just me. I've been reading tarot for over 25 years.
I would prefer to just see the flip through and not the walkthrough, unless maybe I already have the deck, and then I might want to walk through.
Yeah, and it's a great way to walkthroughs and first impressions are a really wonderful way to expand my understanding. So are deck casuals. Hashtag like and subscribe to TarotStache. Because you see things, other people see things that I don't see.
Exactly.
And so it's a learning. But I want to I want to develop a relationship with the deck. I want to feel connected to it. And I think, as Beth said, first deck should excite me. I should like it. Looking at the images should draw me in, because that is going to encourage me to keep reading.
Now, Gerald, what do you do when you see a deck you think you love and you get it in your hands and it doesn't feel like, it doesn't resonate with you?
Yeah, that's happened. I will put it away. Because those of you who know me know that I take a long time to open a deck and play with it. And so part of what I do is, if that happens, I'll actually sort of go, I'm going to set you over here, and then I will come back to you, because it may not be the right time for me to get to know that deck. I may need a little bit more experience.
Or have a more life experience to be able to read into the deck. Because I experienced that as I've gotten older. It's not my tastes haven't changed, but I'm a different person than I was 10 years ago or 50 years ago.
Absolutely. And if you're wanting to watch, I don't know if I said this, but if you're watching a walkthrough and a first impressions, like Dragorshi's Tarot, Orshi, on her channel, she does a flip through where she shows the cards, and she also films a walkthrough and first impressions.
Right.
So I have an option with that. Now, Richie from Longman, I have with Richie from Longman Tarot, he calls it a flip and 10, which is he'll flip through the deck, and then he will talk about 10 cards that he likes. So there's a lot of people out there. You can do that. Some of the things that I do when I look at the flip throughs is I will actually turn the volume down just so that I can see the cards and not listen to what's there. And Ange brought up Lisa Papez. Lisa Papez is quite good with that as well. So, and yes, I do put put a deck in a corner. I put it in a timeout. So, but I think I answered your question, I think. So if I don't connect to it, part of it is I have to figure out, I'm not connecting to this deck for what reason?
Right.
Am I repulsed by it, or is it stretching me in a way that is a growth opportunity? And sometimes those are difficult to tell for me. I'm like going, okay, do I just not like this deck? Do I not like the artwork? And I had that happen recently. I picked, a lot of people were talking about a deck. I fell into the, everybody has it, so should I. And I really appreciated the artwork in the sense of the colors the artist used, but I could not connect with the images. And I even modified the deck trying to make that work for me. So I trimmed it, I edged it, and it did not work. And so I moved it on, but I gave it due time.
Do you think that the creator's energy in the deck has anything to do with whether or not you resonate with it?
Oh, of course. I think that, yes. Yes. And there's some decks that I have seen the creation videos on like Instagram and stuff like that. And sometimes I'm looking at it, I'm like going, you know what? If we were at a cocktail party, I probably would actually excuse myself and go talk to somebody else. And the thing is that's not right or wrong. It just is. It just
is. We don't all resonate with the same people. We're not all comfortable with the same people. Now, we may be comfortable in a group, but one-on-one, we may not be as comfortable.
Yes. And when it comes to selecting a deck, I want to see all of the images. And I know some people, they prefer that they have, well, and I'm included in this, Debbie. There are certain cards that I look at when I am considering a deck. Do those line up with me? Do I have a connection to them? I'll say. I was going to say reaction, but I think connection is a better word.
It is, I think. Yes.
And so, and it was one of those things that, and so like on Kickstarter, which, and by the way, back in the 70s, there were what, 3-4 decks that you could find?
There were very few. Few.
And now there's 3-4 decks published every day.
Yes.
And for me, I want to be able to, like on Kickstarter, I need to see all of the cards to consider whether or not I'm backing it. I will very rarely just back without seeing the images, and it's a red flag for me if the deck has not been completely created yet. Because I'm like going, well, then I don't know where this is going. I want to get caught up in chat. Watch Orshi's flip through. Yeah, Lisa helped me apply her strategy of deciding whether to purchase a deck or not. Yes. That's one of those nice things where Lisa Papa, do you follow Lisa? Deb H? Deb?
I don't, but I think I need to.
Yes. And I mean, and her approach may not be for everyone. I enjoy it. So.
And said there's also some creator's energy that I separate from the deck to be able to connect with it, like Doreen Virtue's decks, because there are a lot of her decks are still out there.
Yes, if you can find them. Hey, Gina, working. Well, and Beth said, Spazio Rising, so true, Gerald. I had that experience with Light Seers. Third copy, I finally realized it wasn't the deck, it was me. #triggered.
Right.
Okay.
And I get that. It's hard to tell sometimes if it's you or if it's the deck. At least for me, it is.
Yeah.
While we're talking about cards that I always look at, let me find it. Let me put it in the right spot. That is the devil in the deck that I mostly use.
Okay. Can you hold it a little closer?
I'm trying. Let's see.
Okay. Yeah, I know it's weird. Okay, that's interesting. Wow.
And when I saw that devil, I thought, now that is temptation. That is the most tempting devil I've ever seen.
Yeah. Very interesting.
And she's holding the figures in her hands instead of having them changed to a column.
Nice.
Which I thought was interesting. But anyway, I'm sorry, I was just got off.
No, that's good.
But that's,
go ahead.
I just, there are certain cards I like to look at. I like to see the Magician. I like to see the Hermit. I like to see the Star. Yes. I have the same problem with the Sun card that most people do. and it's hard to find a Sun card that isn't a baby on a horse.
Yes. Will you remove Gina's comment just so that we can see more?
Sure.
And Gina is back at work. She's having to actually.
She's having to, yes.
So, but yeah, yes, the charming devil that seduces you in until you realize it's a trap, and then it's too late.
Exactly. But you're still free to go.
Yes. Well, and I like the Moon. I like the Hermit because those are my birth cards. I like the Two of Pentacles. The nine. I want to look at the Nine of Swords, the Ten of Swords, and I like to pay attention to the Queen or the Court cards because my Court cards, I prefer some action rather than them just sitting there.
Right.
I want some interaction.
And I like this deck for that too, because the most of those cards that you mentioned have interesting depictions, and they're the Court cards. The most action from the Court cards are in the Kings. The Kings are always. I think there might only be one king that's actually sitting.
Oh, okay.
And the rest are either standing or doing something.
Yeah.
But there are a few cards that I look at, but I like to, as you had said earlier, see the whole story in the cards.
Yes.
Because that's what I do, is I tell the story.
So let's say, Debbie, if we were talking to somebody who is just getting into tarot and using our own experience, how might we encourage them to learn tarot? What has worked for us? And what advice might we give? Is that a fair question?
It is a fair question. When I first learned tarot, I picked up the book. I got all the information I could find, and I read everything I could find. And at that time, my brain was still working much better, and I memorized it all.
Sure.
So over the years, I've lost a lot of that. Okay. And I read more intuitively now. But I feel like because I once knew it, it's still in there.
Yes, I would agree with that.
So I would say that start with something that's fairly common, like an RWS and read everything you can about it.
Mm-hmm.
Or take a class.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Beth said, I always look at the Fool, Magician, High Priestess, Hierophant, Hermit, Death, Eight of Cups, Three of Swords, Queen of Pence. Mm-hmm.
I like to look at the Ten of Swords.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because
for me, the Ten of Swords, I want to see some hope at the end. Tarot to newbies can be intimidating, but if you sit on your bed with all the cards and just play with them and look at each card, it helps to connect. Yes.
Yes. And think about the story, because it's a journey. The cards are a journey. Mm-hmm. They tell a story. So if you can see the story, you just have to figure out how to express it.
That's well said. That's well said. And I think for me, you know, and people have heard me talk about, you know, I love the Robin Wood, and I love the Robin Wood because her book is exceptionally good. Not only is she talking about how she created it and the symbols in it, but she's also at the same time encouraging you to trust what your intuition says and go with your gut. Yeah. And there's a lot of really great information in the
one
book
thing
about that.
Now I didn't get the book with this deck because it was just like in a tuck box with no book, and so I downloaded the book. And one of the main things that it says in the very beginning of the book that I think is excellent advice is that there is no wrong way to read the tarot. And so if your intuition is telling you that a card says something, then that's what it says. That's what you're being prompted to say. The cards aren't wrong. Sometimes our interpretation is wrong, but the cards are always right.
Yes. Yes. I also love this book by Mary K. Greer, Tarot for Yourself. It takes you through all of the cards. There's a new copy of this. I put the spiral binding on it. Hashtag Know Your Limits, purchase responsibly. This is a really great book. Also, if you're a book learner, you learn by reading and you retain information. 78 Degrees of Wisdom by Rachel Pollack is quite good. The Holistic Tarot by Benabel Wynn. You know, a huge tome, a lot of information. That being said, practice, practice, practice. You only get better if you practice.
Yes.
And that means do a reading every day, do readings for people. And
find someone to practice with.
Find someone to practice with. And if you watch people who are doing readings online, one of the things that you can do, and I've done this, the question that they get and that they're answering, I pull my own cards about it. Basically, sometimes I can't think of a question to ask.
That's me too. I run out of questions.
Yeah. And so what I'll do is I'll listen into people who are doing readings for people. I'll either write them down, and then I will do readings at the same time, but I don't type in what my cards say because that's just rude and I wasn't invited to participate. But it's a great way that if you, and you know, there's some books out there that have practice questions, but I mean, practice questions, go online, watch live readings, and there you go.
That's what I do. I sometimes do that. I do that. And like you, I don't put anything in the chat about whatever I pulled. And sometimes I agree with the readers and sometimes I don't. Sometimes I don't agree and I think I'm right, but I still don't put it in the chat because I haven't been asked.
Right. This is not my channel.
Right.
To do that. I want to catch up on chat because Gerald, Anna K's 10 of Swords Has hope at the end. Have you looked at that deck? Yes, I do have the Anna K Tarot, Beth.
Where did that go?
And
there it is.
yeah, you do need that connection to. Yeah, I think, I mean, and the Robin Wood does as well. So I do pay attention to that.
The Ten of Swords in this deck that I use all the time has the actual act. Someone is putting the sword in the body. And that, to me, said that's a thing you need to let go. You have to let go of it, kill it, and send it away.
Yes, yes.
So I don't, not every deck, but most decks will, the artwork will inform the intent of the card.
Yes, and I'm also watching, looking. Pamela Batchelor said, the Wildwood Tarot gave me a whole new understanding of the Devil card, the Guardian. Yes. And I am also a person who, and not everybody does this, I like decks with a book. Mm-hmm. I like, surprise. Yeah, like the Druidcraft has a big book. Mm-hmm. And I like to refer to that. The Wildwood does. And the Wildwood is just a really interesting deck because it has a different approach to the wheel, right, and the interaction of the cards. But so for me, and again, I'm a geek, I want the deck to have a book, and I want a good book. So, and by the way, I know Sadhana, Integrative Healing with Sadhana, Lisa Papez, most recently Maria, Lady Knight of Avalon. I like big books, and I cannot lie. Yes, they have all done guidebooks. Talking about guidebooks, decks. Yes, with really good guidebooks. I
saw Maria's yesterday or the day before. Mm-hmm. I usually miss them live, but I put them in my to watch list. Hi, Manasa.
Hi, Manasa. By the way, Manasa's on my channel next Monday evening.
She is a sweetheart.
She is.
I love Manasa.
Liz Dean's Ultimate Tarot also. Lots of visuals and a good starter book. Okay. And I don't know Liz Dean's book. Pamela reads 78 Degrees of Wisdom once a year. I have not read all of that. It's a bit thick for me, so I go in and cherry pick when I'm working with.
I don't retain information that I read like I once did, so I'm reduced to doing that now. I can't just sit and read it through and retain it.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Tangi says, I like the books for bibliomancy. Yes.
She does. Yes, she does.
Yes. Of course she does. Hi, Viviani.
Hi, Mark.
Okay. Mark,
lovely to see you.
Mark, I was talking about your interview here yesterday. It was such a good time. I appreciate your story and you being able to share it, and an example of how you develop a relationship with spirits, and when you develop a relationship with spirit, including arguing with spirit and your guides, that's how you understand each other, and you go, okay, I know, let's just do this. So I thought that was lovely.
Mine sent me 2 songs this morning. This morning I just called to say I love you. And then I got rickrolled. I got Never Gonna Give You Up.
Hey, I love that song. And trust me, back in the day, back in the 80s, I wanted to be Rick Astley because he's a good looking guy, great voice.
He still is. So, he still looks really very young.
He is. Beth said, Gerald, I just found a used copy of the 5 Cent Tarot. So excited to get it. Love Motel Gift Shop cardstock. This is the lavender. Ooh, very nice. Had an appointment yesterday, so I missed. Yes, watch the replay, Viviani.
I really had a good time, and Mark has a fascinating story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Rickrolled by spirit.
Yes, I was rickrolled by spirit. And it was an a cappella version.
Was it by Rick Astley or was it by
No, this one
else?
was covered by Home Free, which is an a cappella group, and their version is, because they went full 80s and did the hair and the whole thing. So it's really funny.
Mm.
And they sing really well.
That's good. Well, I would hope so.
They do.
I mean, and that's something that I think you can tell. I'm a big Eurythmics fan.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, huge.
Annie Lennox, yes, and Dave Stewart.
Annie Lennox, Dave Stewart, amazing. And some of their live concerts, they will do a cappella versions of their songs. And what's truly amazing, yes, there's a reference there to a, Come Together. That's a Beatles reference, correct?
It is.
So, well, Mark,
I'm a metalhead too. I'm a metalhead, but I'm an old metalhead. So all of the music that's been up until now, I still know that music.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I might be headbanging back in the car or something.
So, one of the things that you can tell about, I think you can tell a great song is when other people can perform that song. They do it a cappella, they do it hardcore rock, they do it in ballroom, whatever. And if
like
it can
the Sound
translate,
of Silence has been covered, everything from a cappella to heavy metal.
Yes.
And
yes.
And I have to make a confession. I don't listen to Adele. Her voice is like fingernails on a chalkboard to me. But I can do the heavy metal versions of her songs. There are heavy metal versions of her songs, and her songs are really good when they're angry.
Well, I think they're angry.
They are, but they're angry with a sweet voice.
Angry with it. You want the full lash out.
I do.
You want the spit coming out and the sweat
I
and
do.
the really gross hair and all of that. Yeah.
I like to be entertained.
There you go. So, hey, and now you know. This is something we learned about Deb. So that's so nice.
Everybody that knows me knows I'm a metalhead.
So, okay. You and Sandra, the Whispering Well, also is a metalhead. Appreciates.
And she's a sweet woman that you wouldn't think that of.
Oh, yeah. I'm not surprised, to be honest with you, when I see that. So, Deb, do you like Janis Joplin? She blended the blues with anger and sorrow.
I do. I love Janis, and was very, very heartbroken when she left this plane.
Yes. Sweet Dreams Are Made of This. Yes, Mark. And there's a couple of interesting versions of that. And Morrissey's voice. Yeah.
And Here Comes Rain Again.
Yep. So one thing that because I'm always looking at learning more about tarot. I'm always liking to expand. When I do my deck casuals, I do a fair amount of work with them, because I don't want to sound like an idiot when I'm talking about these decks.
I understand that.
Yeah, these, creators have put so much of their energy, their love, their anger, all of their emotions into these decks, and to bring it out into the world. And so when somebody writes a book, I want to understand that.
I'd like to see the creator's perspective too, because I've been thinking about making a deck. I just have to figure out how to do it, but it's going to be elephants, of course.
Really? Really, elephants.
An elephant deck, yes.
An elephant deck. Surprise. So,
So,
but
Gerald, you have been asking some questions and you didn't answer for yourself.
which
How
one?
did you learn to read tarot?
Okay. So I learned tarot. It's my friend Trixie's fault. And she gave me my first tarot deck, which was the Inner Child cards.
I
I'm told
believe
that's
I think I've seen Trixie on your show.
yes. She was on. We were talking belting, and for Longstache. But so she was wanting to learn more of tarot, and she two friends and I got together and we were studying the Robin Wood Tarot, and
Yes.
each of us got a new copy of the Robin Wood Tarot and the book,
Mm-hmm.
and we played with it for a full moon cycle, and then at the end of that moon cycle we mixed all of the decks together. Yeah, oh sure, blame Trixie. Oh yeah, it's Trixie's fault. It's just because, Trixie's the kind of friend who, I tell her something and she's like, that's a horrible idea. What time? When are we going to do this?
I just
So,
that Julie from Peekaboo Rose is an elephant lover too. And
yes.
I just quickly, since I jumped in here and interrupted you,
No.
Ange wanted to know what's my connection to elephants. I first started to collect elephants when I was a child.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to tell elephant jokes. My introductory joke was, how can you tell if an elephant's been in the refrigerator?
I don't know. How can you tell an elephant's been in the refrigerator?
By the footprints in the butter. I was 8. What do you? It was funny then. So,
you do realize now everybody in the chat is going to be telling that to at least
that
one
joke,
person.
that's fine.
Yes. Yes.
So and I just loved them, and I started to learn everything I could about them, and I started to collect them. I started with pink elephants, and that expanded to elephants. So I just, over the years, have developed an affinity for them. They're amazing creatures. I have videos of elephants dancing to music. I have videos of elephants painting pictures from memory, not painting what's in but painting from memory from when they were wild.
Wow.
I have, they are really amazing creatures. They're wonderful, lovely beings.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to be more like them. So that's my connection to elephants.
That's lovely. That's lovely.
So I'm sorry I interrupted you. You were with the Robin Wood.
So friends and I, so what we did is we studied this book and the cards, and then we mixed all of our cards together and we created 3 new decks out of that combined thing. So we've all heard this. My deck is a combination of our 3 decks. And so that really made sense to me, Debbie, is because part of what I did is I actually laid the minors out in a row, and then I laid all 4 suits out, all of the aces under each other, the 2s, the 3s, etc., so that I could see the progression of the suit, and that really helped me because Robin Wood also talks about that,
Yes.
and see the relationship to that. And then I would do readings with Trixie. I was the warm-up act. She was the one who was really connected. So,
and you had you had a practice partner.
Yes. Yeah, actually I had 2 practice partners. And then we would get together and we would do tarot card readings a lot.
And that's really how you build a foundation.
It is.
Is you read a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And having a practice partner or two really is an incentive, and it makes it fun.
Yes. And you can actually have a practice partner right now. Just people that you know.
Mm-hmm.
You can email back and forth. You can FaceTime. You can Zoom. You can Facebook Messenger video and do that. So I think practice is really, really helpful because it goes from here's the knowledge that I have, and then let me
Yes.
put it into practice so that I can turn that into wisdom.
And
So
if
that I
you
can do that.
connect to your guides, your spirit team, your deities, however you connect to spirit and the source, then you will have a communication with them as well, because they will talk to you through the cards.
Mm-hmm.
My
Yes.
my spirit guides very often, if I'm having a reading with someone is reading me, they communicate through cards. They'll say,
Yes.
I see this card, and I will know what that means.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and I also used to, I would do readings for a friend of mine who had more experience with the cards, and I would flip over cards and I would think about what was there, and he would say, okay, I understand. And I get it. I missed my opportunity to express what I was thinking and feeling about the cards.
It's
And
important to say whatever impression you get, say that. That's
yes,
that's the message. If you're
yes.
getting an impression, the first thing you think of, that is what you need to say.
Well, and that takes time and practice to be
It
able to
does.
trust that. And I think, and also I think it's just, I think a great bit of advice I would give to myself as a younger person, knocking food out of my hands, and then watching, look at the floor on the floor, going, "Oh, look, a camel in the Cheerios on the floor." Yes, 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 but you're still vertical.
I can see Tangi doing that.
Yes, yes. Well, and so I think a bit of advice I would give to myself in the past, my younger self, and I need to start, or I want to start doing this, is because I'm learning new things.
Mm-hmm.
I want to take notes about those new things with each of the cards and the layers. So for me, it gives me an opportunity to continue to grow and understand. So when and if the time comes for me to create my own deck, then I have my own 78 degrees of wisdom, my own
Right.
copy of holistic tarot. It's my version of that from
Right.
what I've either read or I've learned, and
And you
that's
would
great.
be surprised how much you learn just watching other people. You will
Yes,
retain. Um, Sometimes I'll retain better watching someone else read than I
yes.
can trying to read
Hmm.
a book.
Hmm.
At least as I get older, I'm more of a visual
Absolutely.
learner than I was as a young person, because I comprehended books better
Yes.
then.
Yeah, well, and I think one of the things that really has helped me, and I took a read with me class with sadhana from integrative healing with sadhana 2 years ago. And it really reminded me and taught me the importance of the visual
Yes,
imagery, and how they connect with the cards. What does the visual story tell? And like in the Robin Wood in the book, she talks about, if you're looking at a card and you've never noticed that yellow butterfly before, and that's all you can see, then that's the image that you should really pay attention to. So
exactly.
I've learned over the last several years with reading is to trust that intuitive response, um, of wow, look at that. That image relates to this image, and this image, there's a story, because there's a great bit of storytelling
There
that goes
is.
on.
And also, if you're not reading for yourself, you're reading for someone else, they may understand whatever you don't understand. So
yes,
say it. If you feel like you need to say something, or the first thing that came into your head doesn't make sense to you, say it anyway. If it doesn't make sense to that person, they'll either say so or it will resonate with them later.
Yes, because that would be, isn't that you? Sun Psychic Jean is telling you you are a medium. Just say it. It doesn't need to make sense to you.
It doesn't need to make sense to me. So, yeah, and she convinced me to stop saying I'm not a medium.
So so what are you? You are a medium?
I guess. I mean, I was able to read her. I am a medium. Okay, I am a medium.
Girl, I was just like, I'm giving you the opportunity to own it. Do it, do it, do it, do it.
And yeah, my guides are standing behind me trying to push me. Say it.
Do it. Very good. So that's lovely. Gosh. Wow. There's so many people who have been in chat. This has been great. Thank you for everybody joining.
It's been lovely. I've really enjoyed it. And I have to ask you my final question that I always ask. What is the biggest or most important lesson do you think you've learned in learning to read tarot?
What is the biggest lesson that I've learned in reading tarot? Ooh. I am more connected than what I realize.
You are very connected.
Well, thank you. I don't always believe that.
And
so
now it's your turn to own it.
Yes. I am more connected than I realize.
You are very connected.
Thank you. So, wow.
So, Gerald, this has been such a lovely discussion. And I'm sure you may have something coming up in the near future.
Well, yes, a matter of fact, I do. But everybody likes and subscribe to your channel.
Thank you.
Because you've got great interviews coming up.
And I do have some good ones.
Maybe sometime we could get together and do readings again.
I would love that. I
mean, people in chat and people watching back, would you like that? You have to let us know.
Yes.
Because, so it's like, let Deb know that you want to do that. Monday, I actually I do a series called Laugh and Learn.
Mm-hmm.
And I am doing a Laugh and Learn about grief and grieving, and that's at 2 p.m. And Joe from Behind the Veil has upped their game, and so they are now the Power of Purpose. And so that's on Monday. And grief and grieving, that'll be a very powerful one. And then on Monday evening, I have a casual with Tarot Living with Manasa.
That'll be
fun. How's that? Yes.
She is an interesting woman.
She's an amazing woman, powerful. And then I am a guest on Jane the Seeker on Tuesday. I am doing readings there with her.
And I wish Jane was a little bit later. I always miss her.
Well, that's why there's playback, but yes,
there are playbacks.
I get it. So, but then I have another Laugh and Learn about mediumship with Betsy Palmer on Tuesday.
That will be cool.
Mediumship. So I'm looking forward to that. And I've got so much other stuff coming up. Just look and subscribe. It's going to be easier that way. So it's great.
I'm trying to see my
calendar.
My calendar.
So
Jane is
yeah,
awesome.
I have a lot of stuff. Yes, Jane is awesome. I was just watching Jane and Lisa today. That was great fun. So, but.
Well, I appreciate you coming and visiting with me. I appreciate everyone in chat.
Me too. It's been
Love
great.
you all. And I want to invite you back, everyone. There was a consensus that they would love to see us do some reading. So I'm going to invite you back whenever you have time and would like to, and we'll do some readings.
Yes, we can. That'll be fun. So excellent.
All right. Well, everyone, have a wonderful the rest of your day. And Gerald's got some more coming up this afternoon. So
I do?
Don't you?
I don't think so. Don't freak me out like that. No, I don't.
You don't? Oh, well, then he's going to be free to be in people's chat.
Well, if somebody wants to invite me to something, TarotStache at Gmail. So,
okay. Well, we will see you soon. And much love to everyone. Goodbye, beautiful beings.
Bye.